It's Sam, and today I'm coming at you with another BeyBlade video. I mean, who could have guessed? I've been doing so much stuff except for BeyBlade, right? So today it's episode 2.2, okay? And we're gonna be covering defense types. Okay, so the second episode of our mini series of types. So let's start off by looking at some traits defense types have. Okay, so defense types are made to counter attack types by being heavier and being able to receive super strong hits without flying out of the stadium or losing stamina too fast. So they're going to be heavy, so their fusion wheels are usually very heavy. The rock fusion wheel, this kind of fusion wheel, is a very heavy fusion wheel. In my opinion, one of the best that I've seen. If not the best for defense, actually probably is the best. And then the other thing they have is they want to have a lot of friction against the ground so they don't move around too much and they don't get something like a stadium out. So they often have wide performance tips that make a lot of friction. And then the other pieces in general are usually heavy pieces to cause more friction. So in that way, they're a little bit like attack types, which is actually pretty interesting since they're made to counter attack types. So as always in this mini-series, we're going to be facing a defense-type BeyBlade against all the other types, alright? So first up, we got defense and attack. So we're going to be having a completely unmodified Rock Orso, okay? Completely unmodified, not like my modified one, although my modified one is actually better. And then we're going to have this attack-type BeyBlade, which I don't actually know the name of. Let's get into the battle. 3, 2, 1, let it rip! Right now, Rock Orso kind of just chilling in the center, while the attack type loses a lot of stamina, and as you can see, he's not doing that much damage. Rock Orso is kind of just taking the hits and chilling, kind of just staying in the center, not being pushed around, like a stamina type might be. And that was a very, very easy win for Rock Orso. So as you can see, they have okay stamina. Probably not as good as a stamina type, but definitely good enough to out-stamina an attack type. Next up, we have Rock Orso versus Flash Sagittario, and I expect this to be a pretty exciting battle, so let's get straight into it. 3, 2, 1, let it rip! Rip! Alright, so as you can see, they're both quickly deflecting off of each other. Flash Sagittario is actually a pretty interestingly aggressive stamina type, but also has pretty moderate stamina. Although I like to think of Flash Sagittario as more of a defense type and an attack type than a stamina type, although it does have pretty good stamina. The only reason I'm using it is because I actually have like 2 stamina types, and this is one of them. Soon I'll be getting another one, but it's shipping. So yeah, this is Flash Sagittario. And as you can see, it's hitting Rock Orso's energy ring. If you don't know what an energy ring is, watch our BeyBlade anatomy video. And it's quickly over. So yeah, it was hitting Rock Orso's energy ring and doing a lot more damage to Rock Orso than Rock Orso was doing it to it. But as you can see, it doesn't have as amazing stamina as your average stamina type. And last, but definitely not least, we have Rock Orso versus my only balance type. And that is this Thermal Lizardo. Sorry, I don't have a lot of balance types. We're just going to have to keep going with Thermal Lizardo until I get another one. So let's go. 3, 2, 1, let it rip! Rip! Alright. Thermal Lizardo is pretty much wasting all of its stamina. And finally it's doing some attacks, but Rock Orso is taking them somewhat well, you know. Mostly staying in the center. Sometimes it goes flying a little bit more, but it's doing pretty well. But as you can see, Rock Orso is actually losing stamina faster than a stamina type would be. Although it still beats Thermal Lizardo with its defensive powers. So as you can see, defense types are pretty good. So we're going to talk about what kind of pieces you should use to make your very own defense type. So let's start top down, right? So, first thing always is you should be using a heavy face bolt if you can. So, this is a metal face bolt. It has a couple grams of weight or so, which is pretty good. So, metal face bolt, highly recommended. Then, the energy ring, you want it to be a heavy energy ring. And if it can be, try to make it balanced. If it can't be, just make it heavy. Because heavy is pretty much what you're aiming for in the entire BeyBlade. We talked about this in the beginning. You want a really heavy fusion wheel. Those are always good. For the spin track, you can have like a medium-sized spin track, and then you can also have something that increases defense. For example, the Eternal Defense spin track, which has like this thing. So, theoretically, although it doesn't always happen, when a Beyblade hits that, it just kind of spins around, although it doesn't really always happen. So, the Beyblade that this comes from in the show is Rock Aries, okay? So that's a good spin track for a defensive Beyblade, and then a good idea for a performance dip is one that has a lot of friction. So you can use this wide ball one. That one's a pretty good one. You can use a wide defense. That's a good one. Pretty much all the ones in the defense line. So like defense, wide defense. Go to Beyblade. Look up Beyblade wiki, and you can look into all these kind of parts on the Beyblade wiki. And you'll be learning the names pretty quickly. Okay, so this might seem confusing now, but it won't seem confusing if you just go to the wiki and learn a little bit about Beyblades. So that's what you should use to build a pretty good defense-type Beyblade. The next video I'll probably post is the stamina-type Beyblade-type video. And I will see you in that one. Stamina types, I think, are my favorite types, so I'm really excited to make that one.